always remember a couple of golden rules. The opening, be
Okay.
it an introduction or a conversation, always remember that the opening and the closing of any introduction of any conversation are the two most important parts of a conversation. Everything
Opening
else,
and closing.
closing. How you open a dialogue and how you close a dialogue are the two most important parts of that dialogue. That dialogue could be anything. It could be an introduction, it could be a presentation, it could be a conversation, it could be any of these things. But the opening and the closing are the foundations, right? So if you establish a foundation, everything else automatically falls into place. And that is the secret to a good introduction. Now, what you should ideally, or what I would ideally do when I start an introduction, I would quote a personality. Personality does not necessarily mean a film star or a pop star. It could be any public figure. It could be either Indian or international, that's your choice. But make sure you choose the quote of a public figure that can relate to you and your profession. You get it?
Okay.
That can relate to you and your profession. Now, this particular introduction that I have given is something that you can use for a professional setting. However, when you are having an introduction or talking to someone in a party, at a party, you're introducing yourself for the first time at a party, to a certain extent, you can use this. But at the same time, you can also incorporate your hobbies and your likes and dislikes. This one is principally used when you're going in for an interview. So, what I have done is I have started off with a quote from one of my personal favorite personalities. Her name is Maya Angelou. She was an African American activist. She's no more. She passed away a couple of years ago. So she was an African American activist. She was one of the first people to fight for the rights of African American women because it was
Okay.
very difficult for them to vote. There was racism, all those things. So you see the way we have started off the sentence. I have started off by saying, introducing myself wouldn't feel right. I have not said, hi, my name is Neetu. I am from so and so place. Boring. Very boring. Everyone knows your name for me. I don't need to have your name repeated twice because I have your resume in front of me, correct? So I don't need
Yes.
you to mention your name and you're from this place. Of course, you're from this place. That is why you're standing here, correct? It's a no-brainer. So start off by saying introducing myself wouldn't feel right if I didn't quote a pioneer and perhaps one of the most resilient women the world has known, Maya Angelou. So you see the way we have started off the conversation, introducing myself wouldn't feel right. That means there is something wrong if I don't quote a pioneer. What is a pioneer? A pioneer is nothing but a person who has started something or who has introduced something in a specific field. What is the meaning of resilient? Resilient means someone who is brave and who's a
Brave
fighter
and yes, fighter.
and a fighter. Okay. So introducing myself wouldn't feel right if I didn't quote a pioneer and perhaps one of the most resilient women the world has known, Maya Angelou. Now we come to the quote. Success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. Now, you will see at the very end also, Pramila, we'll come to the end in a second because we've just begun. At the very end also, I have used this woman's quote, but I have twisted it to make it mine. And this is a perfect way to end your conversation. That is why I specifically told you don't just take, because you like Indira Gandhi, don't take Indira Gandhi's quote. Or because you like, you like Bill Gates, you take Bill Gates' quote. No. Take a quote that is relevant to you as an individual and how you can relate to it. Because ultimately, you will have to twist that quote or change that quote to suit your specific and make it Probila's quote. You get it?
Hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. Then what I have done is I have explained my educational qualifications. That is, having achieved a professional degree in the form of so and so, and pursuing, listen to the next part of the sentence, and pursuing a lucrative, albeit boring job as so and so, predominantly in the UAE. It's a very long sentence, so I will break down the sentence for you. Don't worry. I'll just read the sentence for you first. Predominantly in the UAE, with brief stints in Canada and the Netherlands, it just didn't seem to excite. Basically, what I have done in this particular sentence is I have combined my educational qualifications and my professional qualifications and my years of experience all in one.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let's break down the vocabulary we have used. having achieved a professional degree in the form of my so and so. You don't necessarily have to start the sentence like this. Instead, you can say that even though I have, you can start off the sentence with even though I have a professional degree in the form of my bachelor's of engineering with a specialization in electronics and communication. I can start like this. Or I can say like this, I have a bachelor's of engineering degree with a specialization in electronics and communications, with which I had a successful career of over 15 years in the oil and gas sector. So we can make the sentence a little more simpler. I just gave you a complex format to show you that we can make it complex or simple based on your needs. I'm not saying that you should do a copy and paste. Please don't do a copy and paste. That is not creativity. I want you to be
Yes,
creative.
yes.
So this is just a format for you. These are the different ways in which you can twist and turn. It's like chicken curry. I don't know whether I'm sorry, you eat non-vegetarian. I hope you eat non-vegetarian.
No, I'm vegetarian, but don't worry, nothing.
Then let's take vegetarian because I am a pure non-vegetarian. But we'll take a vegetarian. We'll take paneer. So you have butter. You have paneer butter masala. I love cooking, by the way, and my favorite North Indian dish is paneer butter masala. There is this really popular channel called Your Food Lab. Oh God, I love the
Ye-
guy. His name is Chef
Yes,
Sanjay.
yes, yes.
Oh, I love him so much. So he makes these amazing, amazing dishes. But if you see this paneer butter masala inherently, there's another show called Home Cooking Show, which is another one of my favorites. It's pretty much the same recipe, but sometimes they have the order of steps has been reversed. You understand what I'm saying,
Okay.
Promila? But ultimately the
Yes,
dish is the
yes,
same.
yes.
It's amazing. It's
Hmm.
the same with
Hmm,
your
hmm, hmm, hmm.
introduction also. Your introduction also, ultimately, you can twist and turn the words, but the final output should be the same, which is a fantastic introduction. That's all we are looking at. So you can make it as simple or as complex as you want, depending on the audience that you have. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, the next thing is let's go back to the sentence. So we have already given you the different, I have given you the different ways in which you could have turned that sentence to include both professional and educational qualifications. Your focus should be on the second part of the sentence. That is, after electronics and communications, I have written and pursuing. The verb pursue. It is an
Con-
incredible
continue.
verb.
Continuing.
No, pursue is not continue. Pursue means to take up. Pursue means to take up. For instance, I have pursued, or sorry, I am pursuing guitar lessons. That means what? I am learning guitar lessons, or I am taking up guitar lessons. Taking up. I am taking. It's not continuing. It is to take up or to learn something. Pursue is an excellent verb to use for your education, hobbies, passions, interests. For all of these things, you must use the verb
Okay.
pursue. It is a
For hobby and interest also.
absolutely for all of this because I'm pursuing guitar lessons because I'm happy. Guitar is a hobby of mine. So I'm pursuing. I have pursued a bachelor's degree in engineering. So here I'm using it for my educational qualifications.
So
Got
I
it?
have pursued means you have completed.
Yes. I have completed a bachelor's degree in engineering. Hmm? But
Okay.
pursuing,
Fine.
okay, so we'll go back to the conversation and sorry, introduction and pursuing a lucrative. What is the meaning of lucrative?
Lucrative we basically use for money matters like lucrative flowing.
Okay, so lucrative, if I was to replace lucrative with another word or words, what words would you use?
Lucrative means having change.
No.
No?
You were right when you said it is related to money matters. Good money. Lucrative means excellent money.
Okay,
So
good
you
money.
pursued a lucrative job or a lucrative career means I pursued an excellent career which had great money. I was getting a good salary. So pursuing a lucrative, albeit. What is the meaning of albeit?
Let me read that word.
Okay.
Albeit. Oh, okay. I have read somewhere, but I don't remember now.
Albeit is another formal word for but. So I
But
pursue But that means if I say that I pursued a lucrative, albeit boring career, it means it was a
Okay.
lucrative but boring career.
Hmm.
That's it. So that means I was making great money, but it was a very boring career. Now, I have also used the word tedious. In brackets, you can see that I have used the word tedious as well because I did not want to make it too complicated. But I wanted to tell you that boring you can replace if you want with the word tedious. Tedious means,
Tedious. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
same
Tiring.
thing. Yeah, tiring.
Hmm.
Tedious is tiring, exhausting, boring. You
Exhaust.
can use tedious for
Boring.
all of them. These are
Hmm.
all great adjectives. So I was pursuing a lucrative but boring job as a so and so predominantly. Now let us come to the next part of the introduction, which is predominantly. What's the meaning of the word predominantly?
Pre means before, dominant means main.
Okay. What's the meaning of predominantly? Simple question. It's with one word.
One word. Hmm.
One word. I only want one word. I will give you a clue. It starts with a letter M.
Main.
Expand a little more. You're almost there. Main.
Major.
Main. To main, you add two more alphabets. Mainly.
Mainly. Okay.
Predominantly and mainly are both
Ly.
adverbs. Yeah, they are both
Hmm.
adverbs. That means you're getting two in one when you do this, when you
Hmm.
use this word adjective plus a verb. Okay.
Verb.
So predominantly in the UAE stands for United Arab Emirates. So predominantly, that means mainly in the UAE. I was doing all these things in the UAE, mainly in the UAE, with brief stints. What is the meaning of stint?
Let me see. Stint. It's a since we use flavor or touch.
No.
No.
I
Then
want
I.
one word for stint. The answer is period. Period of
Okay.
period is what we call as stint. The plural of that is stints, just like periods, stints.
Okay.
That's all.
So
So with
tenure, can we replace it with tenure? Not
no, no. Tenure is duration.
duration.
I,
Yes.
I yes, I had a brief. That's a good question. Let me think. Let me think before answering that question. Okay. With
Hmm.
a brief, no. Tenure is we use tenure as a period of time in a job. Promila had a brief tenure as a teacher at the ABC school.
Hmm.
Or during her tenure at ABC,
Hmm.
she was an excellent teacher.
Okay.
In the second sentence, you can replace tenure with stint. In the second sentence, you can replace tenure with stint. You're absolutely right, Pramila. But in the first sentence, I wouldn't use it. That is, Pramila had a brief tenure. It'll be brief period. I wouldn't use it.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a
Hmm.
good
Hmm.
question, though. I will just clarify it with another colleague of mine, but I don't think so. In the second sentence, you can use during her stint at ABC school or during her
Oh,
tenure at ABC school. Both of them. Okay, let's go back. So, with brief stints in Canada and the Netherlands, that means brief periods of time. In between the 15 years, couple of little time I was in Canada and the Netherlands, it just didn't seem to excite me. The point I'm trying to make is, I had a great education, fantastic job, I worked in all these places, but nothing was exciting. Now we are going on to the next sentence. But before that, so far, any doubts? Is it clear so
no.
far?
Yes.
Now the next sentence was something that caught my attention. What is the meaning of to catch someone's attention? Idiom.
Interest. You.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It's an interest. That means to make me interested. To make
Hmm.
someone interested is what we call as to catch someone's attention. So to make someone interested is what we are trying to say. So what caught my attention? Something that caught my attention. Yeah. Something that caught my attention was that many of my technically sound colleagues missed out on thrivable. I'll read the full sentence and then we'll break down the vocabulary. Something that caught my attention was that many of my technically sound colleagues missed out on thrivable careers simply because they couldn't express themselves succinctly. Okay, let's break it down. Something that caught my attention means something that interested me was that many of my technically sound colleagues. What is the meaning of technically sound? I can replace sound with proficient. Sound is
Okay. Technically sound means they are proficient in that technology.
exactly, they're proficient in that technology. Brilliant.
Mm.
For instance, if I say Promila has a sound knowledge of the English classics, that means she has an excellent knowledge. I can replace a sound with an excellent. Here
Okay.
we are saying Promila is technically sound. If I say technically sound means you are technically an expert. There's no one to beat you. I can replace sound with proficient, which is what I have put in the brackets. So Promila, sorry, something that caught my attention was that many of my technically sound or technically proficient colleagues. Now I can replace the word colleagues with peers.
Peers.
Peers,
Yes. True.
I think you're already this thing. Missed out on. Now, lucrative is a word I used earlier, and I hate repetition for you. I believe repetition is the most boring thing ever. So
Okay.
I try to avoid, and I think you should also do the same thing. You must do the same. Not I think you must do the same thing. Avoid repetition as much as you possibly can. So you can replace lucrative with thrivable. Same meaning. Good money. If you're
Can
getting good
we
money,
type this word? Type this word.
thrivable. Thrivable. Thrivable.
Okay. Thrivable. Okay.
That you can make for that you can use to replace lucrative.
Okay.
Lucrative, which means you're basically getting good money. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. You can also
Yes.
use
Yes.
yes, you can also use two words to replace thrivable and lucrative. That is economically viable.
Okay.
That is also an excellent term you can use, but this is two words. That is all. Economically
Hmm.
viable. That means excellent
Viable.
money. Yes, economically
Yes. Yes.
viable means excellent. All of this means excellent money or good money, whatever it is that you want to call it.
Can we use
So,
this viable with other adjectives also?
yes, you can. Yes,
Give me
financially
some
viable.
example.
Financially viable, you
Viable.
can use. Yes,
So what
viable.
is the separate meaning of this viable?
Okay, so viable means it is an option or it is possible. Viable is another word for possible. So Promila has given me a viable option to teach my students. That means she has given me an alternate option or a possible option. It is possible. It is practically possible. So you can simply use viable as a standalone adjective. Here I am using it in conjunction with an adverb in order to indicate that we are talking about money specifically.
Money. Yes.
That is the reason as to why we are saying either economically viable or financially viable. Or you can simply just stick with one word that is either thrivable or lucrative, which are excellent adjectives, advanced adjectives. So these technically sound colleagues of mine, they missed out on lucrative careers. Why? Simply because. Now please note that we're using the adverb simply. There is no need for us to use. However, if
Hmm.
we add simply also, it gives more of an effect. It gives more of an extra pizzazz to your sentence. So simply because they couldn't express themselves succinctly. What is the meaning of succinctly? Succinctly spelling is wrong, by the way. Succinctly. Now we got this right. I forgot an extra C there. Succinctly.
Hmm.
Succinctly is just another word for clearly. They couldn't communicate well. They were not proficient in their communication skills, which is why they were missing out on great career opportunities, or they were missing out on promotions or increments or whatever. That
Okay.
is what I'm trying to say in the sentence. Clear so far, Promila?
Yes. Yes.
That's how I decided to pursue this particular degree. Now, which, listen to the second part of the sentence, which entails. What's the meaning of entail? I have already given the alternate word in brackets. Entail means to allow. Entail
Allow.
is just allow, which allows me to be so and so things, or which entails me to be so and so things. I can replace the word allow with entail. So, which entails me, okay, to be a spoken English trainer and all of these things. Now, I am bringing in a little bit of humor into my introduction because so far we were very serious. Now it is time to make it a little personalized. A little humor, don't make it very big humor. A little humor helps in personalizing your introduction, even if it is for a professional purpose. A little humor always helps in personalizing and making it a lot more easier to understand. So, in the 2 years that I have started on this journey, so it's been 2 years since I started on this journey. I have had over 1,000 students. That means more than 1,000 students. A quarter of the pay I had been earning. That means I'm getting only a quarter of the salary I was making earlier. And innumerable. That means uncountable or plenty,
Uncountable.
yeah, uncountable cases of laryngitis. What is laryngitis? Laryngitis is a condition of the throat where you lose your voice because you're having a sore throat. or you're talking loudly, or you are screaming, so then you lose your voice. So when you lose your voice, that condition, it's not a disease, it is a condition. It usually happens when you have a cold or a cough. So you have laryngitis. So I'm just making a joke. I didn't really get laryngitis, but it was almost there. So I've had over 1,000 students, a quarter of the pay I had been earning, but plenty of cases of laryngitis. Now, time for me to end the introduction. But as Miss Angelo put it, instead of saying as Miss Angelo quoted or as Miss Angelo said it, I'm using the phrasal verb put it. But as Miss Angelo put it, now I am twisting this quote to make it mine. I'm replacing success with I. I like myself a whole lot more. I love what I do, and my students enjoy the way I do it. So I am replacing the success with I. In the end, I have written that original quote just for you to do a comparison. That is, success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. I replaced it with I and students. So what
So
we have
where
actually
to get these quotes from? Where to
I
get
got
these quotes?
I just typed it in the internet. I just said, inspirational quotes, and then you get all
Okay.
these things. Yeah. Bill Gates, he's spoken. He's made some amazing quotes. I love Barack Obama. Barack Obama has spoken very
Hmm.
nicely. I mean, amongst the Indian personalities, for sure, we have plenty of quotes. But for me, I've always been a fan of Maya Angelou, which is why I quoted her. Another really inspirational character, is Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman has made some amazing. I'll just type his name out. He's a celebrity. He's an actor. Morgan Freeman. He's 80s now. It's close to 90.
Hmm, hmm, hmm,
Morgan
hmm,
Freeman. These are all excellent people who Maya Angelou. Maya Angelou is the best, personally, in my opinion.
hmm.
Bill Gates, then Barack Obama and his wife, both of them. Both the Obamas, they know how to talk. They really know how to talk
Hmm.
and be inspiring.
Hmm.
So these are some excellent people from whom you can actually take some great quotes and you can use. What do you think of this introduction?
Very nice. I should make my introduction taking hint of this.
Technically, and this is going to be your assignment for the next class. In the next class, I want you to give me an introduction. We're going to start off the next class with your introduction. I don't
Okay.
want you to do a copy paste of this, Pramila. The reason I
No,
gave you
no.
yeah, the reason I gave you this is because I wanted you to follow a format. Now, how your creativity comes out is what we're going to say when you make your introduction. That's all. It's not, there's no hard and fast rule that you should have or you should start off with a quote of a person. There is no hard and fast rule. But it helps. It really makes a difference when you actually add that. So that is the reason as to why I would recommend that you do it. It's just my personal opinion.
Okay.
Okay? Lovely
Thank you. I
talking
will
to you as
follow
always.
this.
Yes. And in the next class, be ready with an introduction. Okay?
Oh, sure. Sure.
Okay. Take care of yourself, Ramila. I'll see you.
Okay. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.